Day 1, breast cancer. Yesterday afternoon at 2:30, a moment that will forever be burned into my soul, I was told that I have breast cancer. I am stunned. Now, we have no history of breast cancer in my family. We have no history of any estrogen-driven cancers in my family. So 2 months ago, I had to have my gallbladder removed. And literally a day or two after I got home, and I still had fresh incisions on my belly, I got that annoying email and voicemail from my doctor saying, "Hey, it's time for your mammogram." And I went, "Oh, hell no, I have fresh incisions. You may not touch me." I said, "I'll do it this summer." I just let it go. I mean, nobody likes having a mammogram, but they've never been particularly problematic for me. So I kind of ignored it. And then a couple weeks ago, I was working with one of my clients, another IC patient who had just been diagnosed with breast cancer. And I thought, "Oh, Jill, you better schedule that." So while I was on the phone with her, I logged into the system and I scheduled my mammogram. Then I went and had my mammogram a week ago. And they called me and said, "We think we saw something. We'd like you to come back in. We want to look again." And so I went back. Of course, they were going to make me wait a month. Like, "We'll see on June 6th. And I'm like, "Wait a second. You just told me you think I have breast cancer and you want me to wait a month? How fair is that?" "No." I said, "I'm going to call you every day and see if there's a cancellation." She's like, "Not a problem. Go ahead and do it." So I literally called Tuesday morning at 8 o'clock. "Do you have a cancellation?" They said yes. Sign me up. So I went in and I had my second mammogram. And in this one, they took a lot more pictures and they showed the x-rays to a radiologist. The radiologist came in and said, "We're a little concerned here, Jill. You've got calcifications in your left breast. You don't just have a few, you actually have a lot of them." And she said, "Most of the time, 90% of the time, calcifications are benign, usually the result of injury. Because I've been doing a lot of moving stuff around in the last year after my parents died, I thought, okay, I just got hit in the breast, no big deal." And she said, for about 10% of the patients, it's early cancer. So we need to do a biopsy. We have an opening right now. Would you like to have your biopsy right now? And I'm like, "Sure. I'm pretty tough. I'm pretty strong about this stuff." Oh, listen. Would have been nice to have a little bit of Valium on board before having not one, but 2 needle biopsies in my breast. I'd probably do another video on what that was like. Let me just say, it was kind of like being on a medieval torture device, but it was pretty short. It only lasted about 30 minutes, but it was certainly very, very uncomfortable. So, and I was shaking like a leaf during that because it was just so odd and unusual. That's what I do. I shake. I have a tremor. So if I get stressed, I start to shake. Anyway, she said, "Okay, so we'll call you on Friday at 2:30 and we'll let you know." So yesterday, as I'm trying to keep myself busy because I am worried, who wouldn't be worried? I'm working on some IC videos and some other stuff like that. I get the phone call and I was stunned. Absolutely stunned. She said, "I hate to tell you this, but you definitely have breast cancer. It's ductal carcinoma in situ." And I held it together. We talked about, I'm going to have a cancer coordinator. I'm meeting her next week. Meet with the surgeon in 2 weeks. But on the inside, I just lost it. I lost it. We hang up the phone and I just collapsed. Honestly, I just sobbed for a long time, because this isn't my first rodeo. I mean, I had this big uterine issue that resulted in a hysterectomy 7 years ago. I even had a pretty significant cancer on my shoulder. But there's nothing like the word cancer that literally just is so scary. It's so scary. So I'm very, very grateful that my sister and my brother-in-law came over right away. I mean, thank God for them, because they're like my sanity. I just don't even know if they ground me and love me and give me hope and comfort when I really, really need it. And then my two best friends were there for me last night, and one of whom had already gone through the same cancer journey, so they were really, really comforting too. Basically, there are just two options. I mean, you have to get rid of the calcifications. That's it. Got to get rid of it. And so you either have a lumpectomy, which is kind of like a partial mastectomy where they take out the section of the breast that is worrisome. But if you have that done, you also normally have to have radiation afterwards. And I don't believe that I'm a good radiation candidate, because as a redhead, I have very, very, very sensitive skin. And especially around my armpits and in this area, I don't really see myself being able to tolerate extended radiation for a period of time. So your other option is a mastectomy, removal of the breast. Now here's the irony. I come from a family of women with ginormous breasts. My grandmother, now granted she was very overweight, had watermelons hanging from her breast. When I was in junior high, I had 38 double Ds. I was 5'8". And I have always found heavy breasts very, very annoying. I'm basically locked down tight with sports bras all the time. I wear a sports bra 24 hours a day because they're, I mean, I'm like a 38C right now, but still they're heavy. They don't feel good. And so I have always dreamed of having breast reduction surgery because I want ballerina boobs. I want 32As. I am not interested in growing old with big, heavy boobs. I'm just not. And so I am very inclined to go for the mastectomies, a double mastectomy, because there were some signs starting in the right breast. And so what I want to do is I just want to document my journey, because I didn't get to do this when my IC started 30 years ago, or even when I had my whole uterine issue. I was very quiet and hid it away, and I didn't really tell people what was going on. But I know in the case of breast cancer, there are millions of men and women who have gone through the same journey, and I want to share my story. I want to get good information out there, but also at the same time, I want a little bit of comfort from other patients who have gone through this. I know that my prognosis is very, very good because it hasn't grown tumors yet. It's just calcifications. It's technically stage 0. But I had this weird premonition a few days ago. I don't know where it came from, but my premonition was that I would be recovering from surgery on the day of my birthday in July. And by golly, I think that's going to come true. I do believe that I will be having surgery early this summer. So anyway, I just want to say thank you for your good wishes, and anybody out there who's going through this journey too. Let's do it together, because we know we're not alone. The other thing that I find very interesting is, like, why me? There's no history of cancer in my family. I asked my doctor, 7 years ago, he goes, Jill, you just have cells that got turned on by estrogen. That's all. No biggie. As I was reading about this one of the things that, again, the genetics are not a case for me. My diet is really, really good. I have gone through incredible grief in the last year, and so I do think that played a role. But I did read an article today that talked about radiation. And because I had pneumonia in February and I had a lot of chest x-rays, I really have to wonder if it was the chest x-rays. So anyway, this is my story, day 1. I intend to post fairly regularly, because I think, we got to talk about it, because there's no shame or blame in having this. And we need to support each other. All right. So I'll keep you posted. Have a good one.